Hey everybody, what you're about to see is some video footage that I shot in November of 2014, and because of life getting in the way and just being busy with some other things, I didn't get a chance to finish editing it until just now. What we're going to be seeing is some video footage of the abandoned Mountwell swimming pool located somewhere in Camden County. And some of you in the group may recognize this place. Some of you have posted photos of some nearby ruins, and you're probably going to know where this place is. If you do, I ask that you please do not give out its location in the comments as per group rules. Do not request its location in the comments. This pool and the nearby ruins have both suffered vandalism, and you'll see that in the video. If I find any comments where the location has been given away or requested, those comments will be deleted. So, the Mountwell swimming pool began its life in 1913. It was originally a sand-lined swimming hole that was actually excavated when they needed building material for a nearby cobblestone dam that was being built on a nearby creek. And it remained a very popular swimming spot for many decades. And then in the 1930s, sometime around 1936, I believe, they built the concrete swimming pool that you're about to see on the exact spot where the original sand-lined swimming hole was located. The concrete pool had 3 diving boards. It had no electric filtration system, no chlorination system. It was 6 inches deep on the shallow end, 10 feet deep on the deep end. And the way that they would chlorinate it is they would actually tie a bag of chlorine to a child and had that child swim around the pool. That's how they chlorinated it. No automation at all. The pool held 900,000 gallons of water, and it remained in operation from the 1930s when it was built up until August of 1973 when they finally closed the pool. And the reason why they closed the pool, well, there were actually a couple of reasons why. The main reason is that they had built a modern swim club nearby. But the other reason is that the maintenance and upkeep on the pool just got to be too much. As I said, it had no electric filtration system. And there was a hillside on one side of the pool where the bathhouse and playground were located. And you'll see later in the video that every time it would rain, sand and sediment and mud and leaves from that hillside would wash down into the pool. And every time that happened, they had to close the pool, drain it, clean it, refill it, and rechlorinate it. And it just got to be too expensive. Plus, the pool actually began to suffer some damage. Sections of the concrete lining began to crack and leak. And it just got to be too much to maintain it. So, in August of 1973, they finally closed it once and for all. And for a little while afterwards, there was some talk of eventually reopening it, but that never happened. And it's gotten to a point now where the pool has deteriorated so much that it'll never reopen. Now, what you're looking at here is the deep end of the pool, and you can see some of the graffiti in the background. It's very heavily overgrown with plants. There's trees growing up through it. What we're looking at right here is the ruins of one of the concrete tiers where the lounge chairs used to be located. And this is actually where you would enter the pool. There's an asphalt path off to the right of the frame, and that's where you would walk into the complex. There would be lounge chairs right here. What you're looking at, that piece of concrete, is actually the a step up from one of the concrete tiers down to a lower one leading into the pool. What you're looking at right here, I think, is one of the original lounge chairs. It was mostly covered up with leaves, but there is some remnants of the old chairs out there. And what you're looking at right here is a fence that's built right in the middle of the pool ruins. I don't know why it's there. It was obviously installed after the pool closed, probably to keep people from walking into the deep end, but why they didn't just put a fence around the outside of the pool, I don't know. And obviously this isn't doing its job because there's major sections of the fence missing and you can just walk right through. And there's a gate right in the middle of the pool that's locked, but there's no fence on either side of it, so I don't understand what the point is. Right here we're actually looking at the concrete pool lining in the background, and you can see some sections of one of the foundations that's still left there. And right here we're actually walking down into the shallow section of the pool. So this part of the pool would have been 6 inches deep, and this would have been where, I guess you would call it the kiddie section of the pool. And at one time, there are old photographs where you can see this pool used to draw crowds from all over South Jersey. It was a very popular swimming spot, mostly because there was nothing else available at the time. I mean, this was pretty much it. And that hillside that you see in the background, that's actually where the bathhouse and the children's playground was located. And you can see from how steep it is, how it would be a problem. Every time it would rain, all the dirt and leaves and all the stuff that you see right there would wash down into the pool. This is actually the edge of the pool that you see right there. And you can see how that would be a problem. And every time it would rain, the pool would become polluted. They would have to drain it, clean it, and refill it. And you can see a lot of the trash that's been left in the pool. This big concrete block is actually attached to the floor of the pool. I have no idea why that's there, but it was obviously put there after the pool closed. And this sign, I've actually blurred out some of the street names on it because it would give away the location. But you actually can find several of these Department of Transportation signs down in the pool. I guess the Public Works lot that's located on the other side of the deep end just tosses their trash in there. Here you can see an old broken overhead projector, and in the background you can see an old microwave. And a lot of leaves, piles of leaves everywhere. A lot of trash. A lot of sediment. And there's that's an old microwave, again, the overhead projector. And I have no idea what this thing that you're about to see is. Again, this is something that was obviously put there by somebody long after the pool closed. I have no idea what that is, why it's there. Somebody carved some writing into the concrete. It almost looks like a piece of an old bike rack or something, but you can see it says the depot. Again, no idea why this was put there, other than probably just some teenagers with nothing better to do. And here we are walking towards the deep end. And you can see there's like trees and bushes growing right up through the middle of the pool. Right about here is where we're actually walking through that old fence that runs right through the middle of the pool. And again, no idea why that was put there. It's not keeping anybody out, so I don't see what the point is. You can see the section where a lot of the old drains are now heavily overgrown and just clogged up with plants. Not that it matters, because the pool will never be full of water again anyway. It would leak like a screen door on a submarine even if you did try to fill it. And again, you can see the fence there in the background that runs through the middle of the pool with a locked gate. And that gate still has a chain and a lock on it. I have no idea why that's there. It obviously isn't doing a job of keeping anybody out. And again, for that matter, if you're going to fence it off, why not put the fence around the perimeter of the pool, not right through the middle of it? And so here we are walking back towards the deep end. And the area that you see back there, that's actually where the path that led down to the pool was. You can see some of the graffiti there. And as I said, this was shot in the middle of November, and I was freezing my ass off. So if it seems like it's a little bit rushed at some points, it's because at this point, my hands were so numb that I couldn't even feel the camera, and I was having a hard time filming. So here you can see some more of the graffiti in the background. A lot of people have actually seen this piece of graffiti in the corner right there. It's actually a painting of a nuclear bomb going off. And then that's the deep end right there. On the other side of that wall is the public works lot. And you can see how it's just very, very heavily overgrown in this section of the pool. A lot of weeds, a lot of bushes. And bear in mind, like I said, this pool has only been abandoned since 1973, so all this growth that you're seeing is in 40 years. Now this is a chassis of a PC that somebody threw down in there. And again, a lot of trash all over the place. People are just turning it into a junkyard. They're just dumping their trash there. There's the nuclear bomb graffiti that I talked about before. And then somebody painted a face there. And I can't quite make out what that says. And again, more graffiti along the back wall of the pool where the deep end is. And most of it back here is so heavily overgrown that you can't walk through it. You actually have to walk around it. And you can see where the concrete bed of the pool is all broken up. Which, again, is one of the reasons why they had to eventually close it. They just had a lot of problems with the concrete lining of the pool cracking and leaking. And it just got to a point where it just didn't pay to maintain it anymore. So you're about to see more of the graffiti. More of these tall grasses and weeds, just all over the place. I mean, the way nature is reclaiming it is just amazing. More graffiti. Spent a decade underwater, just now coming up for air. A lot of tagging, a lot of graffiti. A lot of trash in the background there. And like I said, I think a lot of it gets dumped from the public works lot. You can see more graffiti along the side of the pool back there, mostly covered up by the weeds. And then off in the distance there is the shallow end. And bear in mind, this pool it's a little hard to tell from these shots, but this is like 2 football fields long. Here's an old box fan that was just discarded right near where the old overhead projector was and the old microwave. And here you can see we're headed back towards the shallow end. Again, the old road sign, a lot of the old trash. There in the background you can see where the bathhouse was. Here's another piece of that blue fencing or bike rail or whatever it was. So up there is where the lounge chairs would have been. And there are several tiers that go up. And then at the very top would have been the bathhouse and the old children's playground. And here we are walking back into the shallow end. Again, this would have been about 6 inches deep when it had water in it. And way back there is the deep end. And again, it really gives you an idea of just how big this pool actually was. I mean, this is 2 football fields. That's just huge. That's bigger than most of the pools you'll find today, even the Olympic-size ones. I mean, in a sense, this was almost a man-made lake. That's how big this thing was. And when you consider it had no electric filter, no power chlorination, I mean, it's the upkeep on this was mind-boggling. And here's a full-size tree growing up through the middle of the shallow end, literally growing right up through the concrete. And again, this is 1973 is when this was abandoned. So this tree has grown to like full size in, well, it's grown this much in about 40 years. 42 years. Because August of 1973 is when I was born, and that's when this pool was abandoned. And you can see all the overgrowth. It's just nature has totally reclaimed everything. Again, the concrete blocks, the road sign, the trash. And this is a classic example of why I don't want locations of these places given out, because people just trash it. They don't care. I mean, granted, I know it's not some major historically significant site, but still, I mean, once these places are gone, they're gone forever. So if we don't preserve them, we're not going to have anything left to explore. Or the trash and concrete blocks that are cemented to the floor. And again, that stupid bike rack thing or whatever it is. Most likely these were put here by teenagers that had nothing better to do. Big pile of leaves right in the middle of the pool. And there's the tree again. I mean, it's amazing. If you look at this pool in a satellite image, basically you'll just see a big concrete slab right in the middle of the woods. And this is another street sign. It's not the same one you saw before. And I think the public works lot, they just dump these things in the pool when they don't need them anymore. They're just old road construction signs. And here is an abandoned mountain bike laying in the middle of the pool. Again, people just threw their trash there. I think it's an old Sidewinder. Or, I mean, not a Sidewinder, an old Diamondback. And this is actually on the side of the pool. It's not down in the pool, but somebody threw away an old printer. And this is typical of the kind of trash that's all over the place. This is actually near the asphalt path that leads down into the pool. And here we are standing in the public works lot looking down into the pool. And you can see it's 2 football fields long, and that's how big it is. So thanks for watching the video, guys. There will be more videos like this coming, and I hope you enjoyed it.